facts and news.
On January 2, 1935, a lone man checked into the President Hotel in Kansas City. He only had a comb and a toothbrush in his luggage. He was dressed in a black coat. When he signed the register, he used the name Roland T. Owen. He received room on the 10th floor, and the room number is 1046. On January 3rd, Mary Soptic, the hotel maid, came by to clean his room. She knocked, and Owen opened the door. When she entered, she found the room was completely dark, with the shades drawn tight and the only light coming from a small, dim table lamp, and there he was sitting and smoking a cigarette. As she was cleaning the room, Owen asked her to leave the door unlocked, as he was expecting a friend. 4 hours later, Soptic returned to room to deliver the fresh towels. She found Owen lying on his bed. She also saw a note that read, "Don, I will be back in 15 minutes, wait." Next day morning, Soptic came back to clean the room. His door had been locked from the outside. She opened the door with her master key. While Soptic was still in the room, the phone rang, and Owen answered it. "No, Don, I don't want to eat. I am not hungry." Later that day, Soptic came back to deliver fresh towels. She heard two men talking. When she knocked, she heard a rough voice say, "Who is it?" When she explained that she had fresh towels, the man told her to leave. During the night, a woman staying in room 1048 reported hearing loud voices from 1046, sounded like both male and female voices. The situation got creepier on January 4th. The hotel phone operator noticed that Owen's phone had been off the hook. So he decided to send bellboy to fix his phone. Bellboy knocked at his door, but the door was locked. After knocking some time, he decided to use the hotel pass key to enter Owen's room. When he entered the room, he saw Owen was lying naked on his bed and seemingly drunk. Then he fixed the phone and came back. At 10:30 a.m., Owen's phone was found again disconnected from the hook. Again, bellboy went to fix the phone. When he opened the door, he found himself in utter shock. He couldn't able to believe himself of what he saw. He saw Owen kneeling on the floor. There was blood all over the place. The walls, ceiling, bath, and beddings were all splattered with blood. He got freaked out and left the room. Bellboy immediately called the police. Then police seized the area and kept it under their control. Police discovered that Owen was tied around his neck, and they asked Owen who had been in the room with him. But Owen was unconscious. Then Owen was taken to the hospital. Doctors find very difficult to treat him, as he was in serious condition. Owen suffered many injuries. After long hours of treatment, doctors announced Owen was dead. According to a doctor, Owen had been tortured viciously. The injuries on Owen's body occurred 6 to 7 hours before Owen's death. His arms, legs, and neck had been restrained by some kind of cord, and his chest sustained multiple stab wounds. He also suffered a punctured lung and a fractured skull. The autopsy result concluded that the murderer was torturing Owen when his phone was constantly being disconnected from the hook. When investigators searched the room, the strangeness continued. Detectives found no weapon or any of Owen's belongings in them, as well as nothing that matched the name and description of Roland Owen when he checked in. The only thing the detectives found were 4 small fingerprints on the telephone stand, though they were never identified. When none of the identifications found, finally, the investigation came to a halt, and the detectives decided to bury the body. An anonymous sender delivered flowers and money, wrapped in newspaper, to the funeral home, as they prepared for a small funeral. The flowers and money were accompanied by a card that read, "Love forever, Louise." The detectives couldn't able to find who sent us flowers and money. After a year, Ruby Ogletree, a woman who had seen a photo of a distinctive scar on his head in the news magazine about the mystery of room number 1046. Ruby would correctly identify Owen as her son, who left Birmingham long before. Ruby told his name was Artemis Ogletree, not Owen. Last year, his mother, Ruby Ogletree, had received 3 letters from her son. These letters were typewritten and delivered after Owen's death. This was especially suspicious because Artemis couldn't type. This new pieces of evidence are unfold. For the time being, however, it seems that the mystery of room 1046 may never truly be solved. But there are some conspiracy theories surrounding this murder. The investigators came up with a theory that the person named Don had a conflict with Artemis. He assassinated Artemis and escaped with it. The police also suspected that Mrs. Ogletree and Don had lived together briefly in Kansas City at the time Artemis was killed. The second theory came from an interrogation of the hotel's elevator operator, Charles Blocker. Blocker claimed to have seen a young woman looking for room 1046. The third theory was the most popular among the general public. Investigators suspected Artemis of cheating on his fiancée, and in a fit of rage, his fiancée murdered him with the assistance of her brother. But this murder still remains unknown. To this day, the case remains unsolved.